We love being able to go to the different high school, colleges, middle schools to live broadcast sporting events around the area. Georgia Alabama Sports Live appreciates all the fan support, but without a presenting sponsor like Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC and Opelika, none of this would be possible. So we want to say thank you so much. Go to glennsmith.com. That is right, glennsmith.com. See all the inventory and see why people always say, you're ready to smile. Thanks, everyone, and thank you to Glenn Smith Chevrolet and GMC for being our presenting sponsor.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Calvary Coaches Show. Every Monday night at 7 p.m., we will interview a different Calvary Christian head coach. If you missed the interview with Coach Brunson last week, as we get ready for this upcoming football season, as the Calvary Christian Knights are taking on Terrell Academy this Friday, and what a fantastic Calvary Media Days as well. Just a big shout out to Georgia Alabama Sports Live, the athletic director, Coach Steve Smith, for putting that on. And we've got a special coach for you here today, making that transition from the Gaps to the GIAA. I'm privileged to welcome the softball coach of Calvary Christian, Coach Jeff Halstead. Coach, how you been?
I've been doing well. How about you?
I'm doing great. I'm really excited about talking about Calvary Christian softball, making that transition into the GIAA. Before we get into that, though, just tell us a little bit about your coaching background, how long you've been coaching softball, and what led you to Calvary Christian.
So I've been coaching sports, been coaching baseball or softball going into my 21st year of coaching. This will be my 6th year coaching softball. I spent the first 15 years of my coaching career coaching baseball. What led me to Calvary was just I was running my own sports training facility here in Columbus for a long time, and when my daughter got to the age where she started playing softball, we did everything we could for her not to play softball, but she decided to go that route, and so we ended up selling the business that we owned at the time and started coaching. Made the transition from basically coaching 18-year-old travel boys baseball to coaching 6-year-old girls softball. So that was quite the transition, but I've been doing softball now this will be my 6th year coaching softball, and wouldn't trade it for anything.
And we have seen great success of Calvary softball, especially in the Gaps, won 3 straight championships, but they play softball in the spring in the Gaps. Now you're making the transition to the GIAA, and the GIAA plays in the fall. What were some of the challenges having to go from a spring season to not get a whole lot of time to get prepared for the fall in the GIAA play?
Yeah, I think losing some of the off-season workouts probably is a little bit of a challenge that we would normally have done. We had a couple of players that left and made decisions to go other places and graduate. So not being able to really figure out during that short time frame how we're going to make this transition and who's going to play which positions and those kind of things is always tough. But I think we're moving in the right direction, and we're going to be just fine.
Coach, it is early, currently 1-2 on the season, lost to Southwest Georgia Academy twice, did defeat Schley County. As you get ready for Mount DeSales Academy later in the GIAA, and then a massive game on Saturday. I cannot wait for this. We will have this game on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. First pitch at 9 o'clock in the morning this Saturday, taking on the 2-time 5A champions of the GHSA, the Northside Lady Patriots. Coach, just talk about the preparation coming into this season. What are some of the key players coming back? I noticed you got an 8th grader, Madison Davis, who's leading the team in 2 home runs. And then you have a freshman who's the leading the batting average as far as Brinley McKelvey. What are some of the other players on your team that got that experience from the couple of seasons, and what are some of the veteran leaders you have on this team, and what are some of the newcomers that may make an impact this upcoming season?
Yeah, so we're going to be really young this year. We actually have one senior who is Cameron Johnson. She's our only returning senior this year. And then we have no juniors on the team. And then we have one sophomore, which is Kendall Gum. And then everybody else on the team is going to be eighth graders and freshmen. So we are extremely young this year, making this jump into GIAA, competing against bigger schools like Northside is certainly going to be a challenge, but it's one that, we're looking forward to, and just something that, we've been waiting to kind of be able to say that we could maybe step in and compete against some bigger schools. And so that's going to be it's going to be a challenge for us, but it's also something that we're excited about for the future.
And one thing I've noticed around the campus of Calvary, they are upgrading the facilities, including over by the softball field. Are you guys building an entrance on Old Moon Road that's actually leading into where you could park? Because I know a lot of people they come from the other entrance on Moon Road, but I've noticed they built like a driveway behind the outfield.
Yeah, so there's going to be a road that's going to go around the softball field. That's just going to be another road passing through campus. And we're also building, I don't know if you got to see, but right beside that road, we're building a new basically indoor hitting facility. It'll be open air, so it won't have walls, but it's a really nice facility that we've had a donor step up and donate for us. So we're really excited about getting that and just being able to upgrade our facilities and have extra practice space.
Well, I cannot wait. I look at the thing. I look at this upcoming season in the GIAA. I think you've got some rivals in Brookstone. You got a Pacelli team that's actually revived their softball program. What are some of the matchups you're looking forward to? Just playing in town, getting to play the two new rivals in the GIAA in Brookstone and Pacelli.
I think we're just excited about anybody that any kind of competition we can face. I think just kind of seeing where we are as a measuring stick up against those other programs. I know Pacelli is kind of reviving their program. We're kind of in a rebuilding year. I know Brookstone has been in GIAA softball for a while. So I think when we get to play them, it'll be a good measuring stick as to kind of where we are as a program and the things that we need to work on and improve on. But I fully expect us to step in and compete with those schools, and we're looking forward to being able to do that. It's something we've never really had the chance to do, with our softball season being in the spring and then playing in the fall. So now that we have a chance to play some more of the local competition, it's going to be good for us to see where we are and how we stack up against those other teams.
Well, you talked about there's not a whole lot of transition playing from spring to fall ball in the GIAA. But what were some of the things that you were able to work on in the summer as you're getting your team prepared with not a whole lot of time in between?
Well, the biggest thing is knowing that we were going to be starting 7th, 8th, and 9th graders, just basically bringing them up to speed with the difference in the speed of the game between middle school and varsity is a big jump for a lot of these young ladies. And so just being able to kind of transition them, get them up to speed with all the things that we do in our program and what we expect from them, and just helping them adjust to the speed of the game, because it is very, very different moving from a middle school program into a varsity program.
Well, I can't wait. Let's just talk a little bit about the schedule, because you did schedule Northside. I mean, you did schedule several teams like Mount DeSales, Schley County, which is a team in the GHSA. What went into making the schedule as far as the non-region opponents? Because you knew that you had to go in and face some tough opponents in the GIAA as well.
One of the things that GIA takes into consideration is strength of schedule. And so we weren't going to back down from scheduling and competing against the best teams. And we really wanted to use this year as a year, knowing that we were young, knowing that we were going to be kind of growing into this. We wanted to use this as a year to say, okay, let's face some teams that are really good so that we know how that are established, and let's just kind of see where we are and the things that we need to work on. So that was kind of the mindset going in, is we're not going to back down from anybody. We're going to, we'll go out and compete with whoever, regardless of the outcome. We're going to go out and play the toughest competition, because I believe that's what will make our kids better, is playing against good competition, playing against some of these more established programs, and just really seeing, okay, where are we moving from gaps into a bigger league, into a more competitive league? Where are we going to stack up against some of the best teams in that league? We play against Westfield, who's historically been really strong in GIAA. We play against Tatnall Square, who's been historically very strong in GIAA, Southwest Georgia Academy, Stratford. So we've got kind of a gauntlet of a schedule. Of course, Northside's on that schedule as well. So we've got a gauntlet of a schedule, and we recognize that, but we really want to see where we are and how we're going to stack up.
Well, there is no question that we are excited that Calvary Christian is continuing their tradition and history of winning, and just making that transition to the GIAA is going to be exciting. As we know, in Georgia, they play softball in the fall at the GHSA and the GIAA levels, and there's a lot of games going on. My final question to you, Coach, is how can people that support Calvary Athletics, how can boosters, how can fans of Calvary and fans of just softball in general come support the Calvary Christian Lady Knights? What are some of the things that they can do?
Well, first and foremost, anytime you have fans there, just show support for the team. Anybody can come out and watch us play, and we're going to try to put the best product that we can on the field. And so that would be number one. It's just showing up, being present, letting these young ladies see our fans there, knowing that they're being supported by the school and by people in the community. Obviously any program that's growing is going to have financial needs, donating to our booster club, supporting our booster club. That certainly helps everything as well. So just, those are probably the two biggest ways, but mostly just showing up and being present. We are young, but we're going to get after it. We're scrappy, and we're going to get on the field, and we're going to give everything we got. That's one thing that we're going to take pride in, is we're always going to play our hardest, and we want to be a team that people say are fun to watch. That's something that I always tell the girls is, don't be boring to watch. And I think that's our number one goal, is when people come watch us play, that they're going to see a good brand of softball, and that they're going to see a team that they love watching compete.
Coach, what is your relationship with the athletic director, Coach Steve Smith, and what are some of the things that he has taught you just to continue to improve the brand and really just to promote Calvary athletics in general?
Yeah, so Steve, what you may not know about me is I'm also the executive director of business and operations at Calvary. So I was actually part of the committee that hired Coach Smith to become our AD. And so I obviously knew he was the right choice for that job, but he has been tremendous since he's been there. And now he has the role of supporting me as the head softball coach. And so he and I have had many discussions about how to take this program from where it is and kind of elevate it to the next level, knowing the challenges that we're going to be facing going into GIAA. But he and I have a great relationship. We've become good friends since he's gotten here, and we bounce ideas off of each other. Obviously, he also runs our baseball program, and our baseball program is top notch. So we're trying to get our softball program on that level. And I think leaning on Coach Smith for some advice, and leaning on him for just kind of helping me lay the pathway for us getting from where we are now to being able to compete at the highest level, regardless of classification.
Coach, talk a little bit about your coaching staff. Who are some of your assistants that help you with the day-to-day activities and helping with practices, and what are some of their specialties?
Yeah, so we have Jill Carlson, who's been coaching for I want to say about 44 years now. So she has been around the game for a really long time. She does a little bit of everything, but she works really well with our pitchers. She does all of our pitch calling, and then we actually, up until we've hired a new middle school staff. They're doing a really good job. That's Kyle Neubauer and Zach Stalker. They're doing a really good job for us. And up to this point, it had just been me and Jill. And then it looks like we may be bringing on Renee Rubio to help us in the softball program as well. He will step in and be helping out with some of the hitters, and just helping out with the overall, with everything. But mainly he'll be doing a lot of hitting work. Jill will be doing a lot of pitching work. And then I work mainly with catchers and defense.
Coach, my final question to you is, we know how big softball is in Columbus. It was the home of the Olympics in 1996 when the United States won the gold medal at historic Golden Park. The South Common Softball Complex is going to be where the GIAA state championships are. I know that is got to be the ultimate goal, is to win a championship in your own backyard. And I know that the community supports softball. We see it through the little leagues, through Northern, through American, through Pioneer. All the little leagues have softball as well. What is your advice to young players that growing up playing softball, they want to come play for Calvary, they want to come play in a program that is got a lot of success, but you're building something, especially with a young team? What are some things that you could give advice as far as people that want to come play for Calvary and really play that type of softball at a very high level in the GIAA, especially being in Columbus?
Well, I would just say this. I've been around this game for a long time, and I would say the number one factor that I think contributes to a child's development is coaching. I think you have to, in a setting where you're wanting to compete and play a game, you got to find a coach that believes in you, a coach that will push you, a coach that will get you to work hard, and that will contribute a lot to your development as a player. And then when you get to the point where you can play the game, then it's really just about self-motivation. It's about finding internally what drives you to want to be the best at something. And so that's really what I would say to a young kid you're looking for great coaches. You're looking for an established program, but you're looking for a coach who can push you to the point where you get to a certain point in your career where you've got to decide that being great at something is something that you want. And once you make that decision, then you will push yourself. And that's really what that boils down to, is finding a coach who can establish that mindset in you.
Well, Coach, good luck this season. I'm excited to get out to the Diamond and see Calvary softball. I'll be there Saturday morning on the call, Georgia, Alabama Sports Live. First pitch, 9 o'clock in the morning, taking on the Northside Lady Patriots. Looking forward to it. And I'm just excited to get you back on here on the Calvary Coaches Show. Thank you so much, Coach, for taking time out of your busy schedule and being a part of the Calvary Coaches Show.
Yeah, thank you for having me, and go Knights.
All right. That is the head softball coach, the 3-time GAPS champion, Coach Jeff Halstead, playing in his first year in the GIAA, Calvary Lady Knights softball, here on Georgia, Alabama Sports Live. Thank you so much once again for watching another episode of the Calvary Coaches Show. Remember, every Monday night at 7 o'clock, we'll have a different Calvary coach just to support Calvary Christian Athletics, and we look forward to seeing you then. Have a great rest of your night, everybody.